What's up, guys? Welcome back to WOD Tip Wednesday. Our discussion today is squatting. So air squatting, that's the topic today. The most fundamental and the most basic of almost anything that we do here. So we're gonna jump right into that. Let's talk stance first. Let me move this out of the way. Stance when we squat. We wanna be shoulder width apart, toes straight forward. We talked about bracing and posture last week, so hopefully you got that worked out. With those toes straight forward, we're going to apply some pressure down into the ground, and we're going to torque those feet out. So that's something that a lot of people have picked up from Kelly Starrett and Mobility WOD, and that's something that we teach here at 4 Barrel as well. So with those toes straight forward, we are going to apply some pressure into the ground and kind of try to rip that ground apart by twisting out on those feet. Now notice I don't let the toes move, I'm just driving that pressure through the hip. From here, I can begin to send the hips back and down until I can get that hip crease below the knee. Now what we're looking for here in the bottom is what we just mentioned. Hip crease below the knee, flat back, weight in the heels. Okay, the other thing to look for in the bottom of that squat is, are we maintaining knees either over the toe or outside of the toe just a little bit. One of the things we want to stay away from is that knee tracking inside that toe, falling inside that toe, and that can originate from a number of reasons, whether it be mobility or stability in the bottom of that squat. Now, some other things to focus on when we are going through that squat. So, we found our brace, we're torquing into the ground, hip crease below the knee, we're keeping weight in the heel down at the bottom, we're still keeping that breath and that stomach tight. As we drive to the top, we're gonna push through the heel and we're gonna squeeze the glutes on the way to the top. And the reason we do that is because we want you to activate the glutes and the hamstring so that you use the whole leg. You're naturally gonna use your quads every time that you squat. So we want people to really concentrate on the glutes and the hamstrings, and that way they use the whole leg. Some other things to watch out for. You see this in a lot of gyms. Everyone's kind of getting into the fact that full range of motion squatting is the way to go. It gives us full proper hip function, and that translates over into several things, even beyond squatting. But a lot of times I see people squat below parallel almost at any cost. So people will initiate their squat, their back will round out, they'll come up in their toes, they'll be down in this folded position, and they get below parallel, but it's in a broken position. So what we want to focus on, and what we teach our athletes to do, is when they squat, one of the things they can do to help maybe get that hip crease down a little bit lower is just turn that toe out just a little bit. And we're not talking a big bunch here, because the more you turn that toe out, the more you are liable to let that knee track inside the toe. From there, as they descend to the bottom, we only have them go as low as they can go while keeping a flat back and the weight in the heels. So we'll have them start into the squat nice and slow, and then if they begin to rock forward or if that back begins to round out, we have them stop in that position and see if they can correct it. If they can correct it, then we may send them just a little bit deeper while maintaining that good position. But weight always stays in the heels, back stays flat, chest stays up. So this is as deep as they can go. That's as deep as we're gonna have them go in the beginning, and then over time, we'll work on those mobility issues to get them deeper. A couple other things that we bring into the picture a lot of times when people are first learning to squat, it's gonna depend on their height as well. We'll give them a depth gauge. So maybe they've got the ability to go all the way down and get that hip crease below parallel, they just don't quite know where that's at. So we'll introduce a medicine ball or a medicine ball stacked on some plates, and then from here, they can descend to the bottom, touch the ball, feel where that bottom position is. They're still tight, they're not sitting on the ball, they're just tapping it, and then they can drive to the top. Another implement that we'll use sometimes is a box, and that's more so if they've got a stability issue in the bottom. And this is different than, let's say, box squatting with a barbell. It's a different time and place. When we use boxes to teach people to air squat, once again, it's mainly a depth gauge, and it helps them find position in the bottom. So on that box squat, same setup, heels against that box, and they can come to the bottom, and maybe if they have a little bit of a stability issue in the bottom, they can use that box to correct that stability, and then from there, they can drive back to the top. So that's air squatting, guys. Remember, you need to correct, or you need to master that air squat before you really move on to any of the other types of squatting. If you don't have that fixed, then your other squats will remain broken and you're gonna run into injury over time. Check us out next week. In the meantime, be sure to follow us on Facebook, 4Barrel CrossFit, like us on Twitter, or I said that backwards. It's follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and then check out our website, 4barrelcrossfit.com. We'll be posting all of these WOD Tip Wednesdays to the blog section, and that way if you need to backtrack and check out anything we've done in the past, it'll be up for you to see.